And I think we on. I think we're live.
We live.
I think we are. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we are. Guess we trying to see. Normally we have our phones up to see if we're live. And James haven't done what he's supposed to do this morning. But we want to say good morning to everyone on this morning. How is everybody doing? I know we can't actually see you guys, but we want to make sure we extend our, what do you call it? We want to make sure everybody is feeling good on this morning. It's Monday, and we are trying to motivate you on this day to make it a great day to start your week out right. We used to say it in Monday night, what is it? Women's exercise night. Come and start your night out right. Anyway, or your week out right, and so we can get us started on this day to carry us through the week.
Yes.
Anyway, how's it going? I can't see everybody who's on here. I think I see.
Good morning. Good morning. I see Sister Rose, Brother Donald, Sister Rose, Sister Camille, Sister Kiki,
Zatiki.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, God.
Jasmine. The Tiki. So yes, God has been good to us, and like I say, we just come to help you to motivate. That's the main thing on this morning. Just motivate everybody. You know, you got through come through a weekend, and we still dealing with this pandemic.
Right.
All the different news that comes our way, and I was able to get back to church on yesterday. Those that were able to get back, it's nothing like nothing like being in the house of the Lord, and it just brings another level of release, I would say. Very powerful message on yesterday. Pastor said, well, Lord, teach us how to fight, or something like that about
we
fighting.
Don't know how to fight.
We don't know how to fight. We don't know
but
how to
we
fight.
Learning.
So
I think we kind of dealt with that a little bit on weeks, a couple of weeks before, and we was talking about we got to fight, and I think it was I can't remember who it was who put it up there, but they kind of reiterated what we said, and I was like, I love that because it made it real to me. I said we had to pray, in our fight we needed to praise. What was it?
It was a lot.
Oh God, see, he can't even remember.
I'm tired this morning, y'all, and I think the thing we gotta look at it, let's be real. A lot of us are tired. And I think sometimes we tell everybody we good, we okay, but I'm tired.
Right.
You fight this fight, and it's a good fight, but you still get tired, mentally, physically, emotionally, tired. And I'm thankful for God because His strength is made perfect in weakness.
I know that's
but
right.
During this walk, especially during this year of 2020, it's been a difficult year for a lot of people. And let me say this, you know, it says that the strong should bear the infirmities of the weak. And sometimes you feel other folks' pain. You feel other folks' weakness, and you try to not carry all that, but you do. And especially being a child of God, being a Christian, you carry some of that weight. And I mean, we have taken some hits in the Acts ministry this year, this month, all in a short period of time, and it started to weigh on me. And
it's weighing on me. I can say that.
Yesterday when we was leaving church, and this is where we kind of got our topic on the day, but we was leaving church yesterday and we was riding. Tamicka said, you know, one thing we got to realize is folks stand in need of love right now. A love that most of us don't even know how to give because we never received it ourselves. But it hit me, you know, and sometimes in our day-to-day walk, we're going through everything and we start to get to a place where we feel numb and get away from feeling what other folk are going through.
Right.
And sometimes you get so consumed with what you're going through. But folk are dying. People are dying. Loved ones are dying. And people are
I know it was
mentally going through stuff. Come on,
right. I was just thinking it kind of started on the way to church because we were running a little behind and we were trying to get there. And I was just thinking, I was like, man, you know, we got to have more compassion and more love towards people because I know the struggle it took for us to get there yesterday morning. And I'm like, you know, sometimes you be like, well, they got to be there on time and you got to do this. And yeah, and that's true. You want to make sure everybody is there on time and in place and do whatever it is that you got to do. But we don't know what it takes for people to get to their destination. You don't know what it took for them to get out the house or what it took for that person to get out of the bed, what it took for that person to actually go to work.
Right.
I mean, not just the physical part of it, but the physical part plays a big part, the mental part, the emotional, everything that person is going through. What did it take for them to get there? And sometimes we got to be more compassionate because I know it took a lot for me to get out of the bed on yesterday morning. I was just like, man, it took a lot for me to get out of bed this morning.
Right.
I was tired, not just
physically,
not just mentally, physically tired, but emotionally and physically drained. Exhausted.
And that's the thing. I think one thing we're leaving, and we're gonna get into the message. Y'all know how we are. I mean, it's not so much that I'm trying to hit you with a whole bunch of Bible. I want to make it relatable to you, and we'll move forward in that. But sometimes you got to go back to what led you to Christ, what led you to church, what made you feel at home in the church, what made you. And so it wasn't that I was being judged. It was that I felt I was being loved. And one thing we can never get away from is the feeling of love.
Right.
We can never get away from showing love. We can never get away from the name of our church. Agape. And let me tell you something. As we kind of go over this today, none of us have come to the place or the point of unconditional love. Agape love. None of us have come to that point. So that means we all should be striving to get better and better each day to love. Mm-hmm. To love. And then sometimes you got to look at what you've been through. What you're going through. And it makes you a little bit less apt to judge somebody else. And so...
I know this thought just came to my mind, and it's not really a complete thought either, but you were saying we can't get away from our name. And we said agape, which means love. And you think about the community, which is a group, which is a coming together, love.
Right.
Agape community temple.
It's the place that we go.
It's the place where we go to get that community of love.
Right, get that instruction.
That unity of love. Unity. And then servants.
That's when you put it out in action. Agape, community, temple of service. Knowing that was God's breath that spoke that to our leaders. And once again, the unconditional love that we need to come together as a community to reach the community.
Right.
And we do that by coming to the temple to get fed. And then we go out as servants. And let me tell you something. In order to be a servant of God, you got to know how to love. Got to know how to love. And we're going to get into this. I think we're ready. You know, we struggle with, you know, not just getting a word, but try to get something that people can relate to and try to get a word that's befitting for right now and what we're going through right now. So,
and I agree with that, but don't think that we haven't studied, but what happened was we changed the topic. You know, sometimes you can get a word and it's not for right now. And I think during this time right now, and I think we agreed that showing more love right now is what's pertinent.
Yeah, especially when you start feeling.
And my heart, you know, and I guess I don't even know if this is proper right now, but my heart goes out to the Whitley family, the Webb family, the Coleman family,
the Smith family, Sister Marshall lost her mother, the Allen family. There's so many, you know what I'm saying, that we came to drive a family. So many people that you know, you say we can't wait till stuff get back to normal, but some stuff ain't never getting back to normal to folk.
And you know, and even not just, you know, them, but the Axe family. We lost 2 people back to back. That's really heart wrenching, and it's that can never go back to normal,
right?
Because they will be missing. And I think right now, you know, I'm not saying that we shouldn't stop what we're doing and moving forward, but I think in that we need to show some compassion,
right?
Show some love. Let them know that I'm here for you, even if they don't reply back to you, even if they don't say, you know, if they say I don't need anything, but let them know you are loved. I'm here for you. You know, and it might not be anything that you can do.
Right.
You might just be a listening ear. You might just sit there and be quiet and hold somebody's hand. But I know when I lost people in my life, I know that just to know that somebody was there.
Right, right.
Whenever I felt the need to go and talk to that person or someone, I knew that you guys were there. And you know, I don't want to stay here, but you know, but this is our topic. We're talking about.
It's our topic, and I mean that's one thing about it. I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. You know what I'm saying? And I got to be careful where I say that. But
yes,
at the end of the day, we need love.
Right.
We need to know that we're loved. And God has chosen each and every one of us, given every one of us our own special gift, and have assigned us to different people to let them know that they are loved.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into it. I'm trying to contain myself, but like I say, it hit me on yesterday. You know, we went to trying to get out of bed, trying to make everything happen, get there and just get to the house, and then when you get to the house, you know, it's already different. And then when we was leaving, it hit me with just dealing with some losses of people that you never see again, that made a great impact in your life, not in just your life, but others' life. And I think that right now, in this dark place that we're in, this dark world that we're in, this is the best time and the greatest opportunity that we of saints of God have to show forth love.
And not only that, you have people who are natural huggers. You think about the people at church. Sister Brenda is a natural hugger. And she's always saying, give me a hug. And I'm always like, you don't have to give me no hug today. God, all up on me like that. And you got Sister Lily, who's a hugger. You know, and it's many of them who are huggers. And not to be able to show that expression is, it's hard.
It's hard.
You know, to see that person, you speak to that person, and not to be able to touch them tangibly, it's hard.
That's it.
You know, so right now, you know, this is a difficult time.
Difficult. And
I think our topic on today, just moving on into it since we're already in it anyway, it is the power of love. There's power in love.
The power of love. God has not given us the spirit of fear. We're going back to our main topic, but of love, power, and a sound mind. A sound mind. Love, power, and a sound mind. We're going to deal with today the power of love. We're not going to get deep into a study of love, you know, whether it's eros, whether it's phileo, whether it's agape. We're not going to get into that. We're just going to get into what God has called us to do in scripture a little bit, and just kind of make it relatable to where we are right now, and just hoping that somebody gets something out of this message on today to motivate you through the week to know that you are loved and to show the love of Christ that's inside of you. So I'm just kind of open up with this this right here, and I was penning this as in the time that we live in right now, with everything that is going on. You got so many different things going on with the pandemic, with the social injustice, with the hatred that's been poured into the world from leadership, and all these different things. You got all this stuff that consumes us, that brings us down negative. And if we focus on all that,
right?
If we focus on everything that's going on wrong, what's going what is going on inside of us will cause us to numb ourselves, like to get numb ourselves,
right?
Get empty. Instead of focusing on what we shouldn't be doing and all the stuff that we shouldn't be doing, let's focus on what we can do.
That's
and the
good.
thing we can do more than anything right now is show love. I'm going to say it again. We can get so caught up on, people saying, y'all ain't doing this and the church ain't doing this and we need to be doing that and you need to. Sometimes we got to stop for a minute and stop focusing on everything that's going on wrong. Yes, there's social injustice. Yes, there's this. Yes, there's that. If we focus on all that, what good is it doing if we don't have a solution? So let's focus on what we can be doing. And the Bible lets us know that all this stuff that's going on sometimes is to do one thing, into what I'm trying to say.
I don't know.
It's trying to bring about fear. I'm trying to use a D word, but it's trying to bring about fear. And fear has one thing in it, that's torment. So we're going to get right on into the lesson. Come on, Sister Tamicka.
Okay, so our key scripture is coming from Matthew 22:37 through 40. And I'm reading from the King James Version. It says, Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Think you go back, you had 10 commandments. And all of a sudden now all of those 10 commandments are compiled in just 2. Love the Lord with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. And then love your neighbor as you would love yourself.
And this is power. He says, thou shalt love thy Lord thy God with part of thy mind.
All.
Part of that heart.
All of it.
Part of your soul.
All of it.
100% of it. 100% of your heart, of your soul, and of your mind should be wrapped around loving God. Loving God. And let's be real. We probably hadn't done this since we was a baby. Right. We hadn't done this since we was a baby. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing I really want to focus on more than anything, because one thing that happens to us in life a lot of times is once that trust has been broken, it's hard to love. And now we're fighting with this thing called, or this word called love.
And let's kind of just make it just a little simple. And, say, for instance, I'm just using us for example, not putting anything out there, but if trust and love is violated between us, on either part, it will be hard for us to come back the next minute, the next hour, the next day, or the next week and say, I trust you again.
Right.
It's going to be a process for me to come back and show the love that I once had or first had. But the key thing is, it's a greater love when I do come back.
Right.
Because it's long suffering.
Come on, yeah. You talking. It's long suffering.
It's long. I'm saying it's a greater love. And so
it's been tested
and
it's been tried, and now it's proven. But then if it keeps being broken, see the love of an infant, a baby, in a sense, if it jumps off a table, or if it requires that person or that other thing to always be there. Nose is always there, and once that has been broken and pain comes in, now there's a reluctancy to love again. And I'm gonna say this right here. It says love may be a universal language, but it's also one of the most misunderstood words. That's bottom line. It's one of the most misunderstood words. Love might be a universal language, but it's one of the most misunderstood words. That's not, I'm not saying in the Bible, but totally in the world, period.
But why do you say that?
Because I think most time we try to put in our definition of what love is. Love is God. God is love. But a lot of times we try to put in our definition of love, a worldly definition of love. He said, if you love me, you'll do what? keep my commandments. And that's the thing we got to look at. And if he commanded us to do something, then he's given us the ability to do it. But once, love has been broken in this fleshly relationships that we have, now it's hard for me to open myself up again to the pain that sometimes comes with loving someone. And I can talk for us. We're getting ready to celebrate 24 years of marriage. And this is one of the greatest places that you see love operate. You see love destroyed. You see love broken. You see love hurt. Is in marriages.
Right.
And this is in these relationships. And we have been through 24 years. We've been married 24 years, but we've been together for 26 of those 24 probably. Right? And so you got to think, I'm still young. So that means I've been married to you right at half my life almost.
I think he got that turned around, but it's okay.
Okay. So, but the thing of it is, in this human frame that I'm in, I have hurt her. She has hurt me. But you gotta be willing to fight through some things in this thing called love. Love is one of the most misunderstood words, and I'm gonna say it again. From both aspects, from the physical to the mental, even into the spiritual, it's misunderstood. Come on, sister.
Right. So 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 8, and of course we have to go here. We call this the love scriptures. But and I'm starting with verse 4, and I don't know what version I'm reading out of. It may be the Passion Version. I forgot to write it down. But anyway, it says, love is large and incredibly patient.
Love is large and incredibly patient.
What does that mean? It's large and incredibly patient.
I mean, that means
it's broad, it's big.
It's a whole nother. Let me read this book.
It's large and incredibly patient. Love is gentle and consistently kind to all. It refuses to be jealous. When blessing comes to someone else, love does not brag about one's achievements nor inflate its own importance. Love does not traffic in shame and disrespect, nor selfishly seek its own honor. Love is not easily irritated or quick to take offense. Love joyfully celebrates honestly and finds no delight in what is wrong. Love is safe. Love is a safe place of shelter, for it never stops believing the best for others. Love never takes failure to defeat, for it never gives up. Love never stops loving. And that's the beginning of verse 8, and I'm not going to read the rest of it. But love never stops loving.
And sometimes this is the pain that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? You try to disconnect yourself from something. But if God has placed that attribute of love, which he has placed that attribute of love in all of us, it never stops loving. We could end right there. It never stops. It loves through hurt. It loves through pain. It loves through sickness. It loves through health. It loves through brokenness. Love never stops loving. The truth.
And that's what I was saying, that when I was saying that after being tested and hurt with love or violated, then love, it becomes greater.
Yes.
Because it never stops loving. It love past violation. Love past continual hurt. Love past, and I hate to say it, abuse. I'm not telling you to stay in that situation. Right. But what I'm saying is love past all of those things. You're talking about someone who created us,
right,
from dust, formed us, made us, and breathed the breath of life within us. We violated him by going against some things that he asked us to do. Right. I'm talking about God. We violated him as men, as a whole. We violated him by going against, by sinning. And he dies on the cross, sends his son to die on the cross for us. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure exactly what kind of love that is, but it loved past. That love past all of our sins.
Everything.
All of our transgressions. Mm-hmm. Everything that we have done. Even these thoughts, those evil thoughts that's in our minds. Love past that.
And it keeps on loving.
And it keeps on loving.
Knowing that it's going to be hurt. Knowing that it's going to go through some tests and some trials. Knowing that this kind of love, we're talking about unconditional love, and we're not there. Mm-mm. We're not there, but it's inside of all of us. So what we have to do is keep working at that. And that's the thing we just want to touch on more than anything. Come on, Sister Tamicka.
I mean, but you already kind of opened up, so I don't want to go with that.
Okay. Go back to that when you said about the love being, what you said?
Love is large and incredibly patient.
Yeah, come on with that one. Come on with that. Love is large and incredibly patient. Love suffers long. It is large and incredibly patient.
Go ahead.
And that's what you gotta look. It's patient. I'm trying to. I had wrote down something that says right here. It says unconditional love. It accepts others as they are, not as they should be. It is not dependent. It is not dependent on youth, good looks, good behavior, or success or wealth. This kind of love, it accepts folk for where they are right there. But it sees the greater in them. So when it sees that, it's patient enough to love. Can you love someone through their mistakes? Can you love someone through their flaws? Can you love someone? You got to be able to see the better in them to love them through it. And that's the thing about it. Love should all of us need love to grow.
Right. You just said something. It kind of remind me of of something that we went through. James wasn't living the best life. See, he always put me out there, so I'm gonna put you out there a little bit. You know, he wasn't living the best life pre-marriage.
I was living my best life.
He think he was, but he was going through all kinds of things that put him in some situations.
Yes.
And I think I remember telling him, you know, he asked me to marry him, and I said, I cannot marry you with you like this. I mean, I can't think of the words, but it was a while ago. And my thing was, you're better than this. You're better than this life that you're living. You know, you were looking at how long? How long were you looking at?
10 to 40.
10 to 40.
In the state penitentiary.
And I'm like, you are better than this. I loved you enough to not put myself in that situation, even though I was in it, because I suffered some things with what you were doing. I had to suffer. I had to go through some things. You put me in some situations that, Yeah. So, but I loved you enough to let you know, look, you are better than this. And do we have enough love for our brothers, for our sisters, even if they are a significant other? Do you have enough love to tell them the truth?
That's it. That's good, baby. I mean, you take me to a place, and I thank God for it, because we can never forget that dark place, that lonely place, because that should motivate you to see somebody else when you see them, and you should be able to connect. For we serve not a high priest that cannot be touched with the feelings of our infirmities. He knows. So sometimes the things we went through in our past should give us greater compassion to love other folk when we see them as we used to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I can remember those. I can remember that conversation like it was yesterday. I think, you know, right after that, I took, and I don't want to get into personal testimony, but I told my lawyer that I'll go ahead and do, they gave me a plea deal of 10 years I was going to do 2 and 8 was going to be suspended. And I told him I'm going to take the deal. And I sitting on the front porch, and Tamicka came home and she said, "What's wrong?" I said, I just let you know, let's go in and talk. Here go the money for everything. I'm taking 2 years. She said, call your lawyer back and tell him don't do it. You're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. She said, you ain't sought God. You ain't did nothing. You just going to take that easy way out. And I called him back and I told him, he said, I'm glad you called me back to say this. And I remember that like it was yesterday. And when she was talking, it says, and I wrote this down. This is what's so powerful about this morning, is that I wrote this down, not even knowing she was going there. It says, to feel this love is to recognize the beauty in another person. I'm going to say this. To feel this kind of love, that means you recognize the best in someone else. To be inspired, to be the best that they can be, or to inspire them to be the best they can be, to see beyond our own concerns and to see the world as a better and brighter place with that person in it. When you portray or relay or put out this type of love, that means you see the better in someone else, not so much just being selfish and see it within yourself. And so when you look at that, it's so many things we have to go back and say, Lord, I failed in this area, but I got another chance to get it right.
Right.
And I'm not, to feel this kind of love, when was the last time you felt the love from someone that recognized something great inside of you that you didn't even see in yourself? Mm. This is what God has called us to do. And like she said, I was living my...
You weren't living your best life. No.
And the thing about it, I had a great job. Mm-hmm. We had money, a roof over our heads.
But sometimes,
I didn't have a relationship with God.
You didn't have the love for yourself that God wanted. That God wanted needed you to have. You got to love yourself.
Now let's go to that. Since that was part of it, love thy God with all thy heart, and love thy neighbor as what? Thyself. The question we have to ask ourselves sometimes: do you really love you? Because I can't love my neighbor. If I'm loving my neighbor as myself, and I don't love me, then I'm not giving them that much love.
Right.
That's why I say this word love is one of the most misunderstood words in the world today. The word love. And a lot of us don't even know how to love ourselves because no one showed us how to love ourselves. And we put that trust in someone else and they violated it. We put it in a spouse and the spouse violated that trust. We put it in the preacher, and the preacher violated that trust. We put it in mama, and mama violated that trust. We put it in dad, and daddy violated that trust. So now we don't even know how to love ourselves. And God has asked us not just to love him, but to also love our neighbor as ourselves. Right. These are the greatest of the two commandments. So we struggle sometimes with that love, that word love. I struggle with the word love.
I definitely struggle with the word love. And I was thinking, it said, love suffers long.
Ooh,
love suffers long. That in itself. Love suffers long. Love endures imperfect people. There is nobody on this earth that is perfect.
Nobody. It was numbered to one person. And he left his spirit with us, in us. But it says what? Love endures imperfect people. And let me tell you something. We the first to say, hey, I'm through with this. Mm-hmm. We quick to throw in the tire.
I am.
We quick to throw it in and turn it around and shut it off. But let me tell you something. God will not continue to keep blessing you until you right some of your wrongs. Mm-hmm. Come on, Sister Tamicka.
It said love stops and listen to the entire explanation.
That's the patient part of love. It stops.
Stop. What does stop mean?
And to stop, to quit, to settle down, to give your undivided attention.
Thank you.
It stops and it listens to the entire explanation. We had on Sunday school class last night. They dealt with Jonathan and David, and it was like a love story. It's a love story. It's one of the greatest love stories in the Bible.
Right, as friends.
As friends, and I think we can glean and learn a lot from that. But one thing that stood out to me, it says when they was talking about how to deal with people in certain areas, and the Bible says you deal with them. It says get wisdom, but all that and with all that getting, get an understanding.
Yes.
Wisdom is the principal thing, but in all that getting, get an understanding. In order to get a total understanding of a situation, you must be willing to listen to the entire explanation. What is really going on? And let me say this, let me break it down. Do you know what that person went through? Do you know that the reason they act the way they act? Do you know why the young lady's walking the streets right now and selling her body? Do you know maybe she was raped? Maybe she was raped by somebody she loved. Now she don't know how to love herself. Do you know why that person stole? Were they hungry? Were they broken? Do you know why they're doing certain things? And we're so quick to categorize people, not understanding what is actually going on in their life or what got them at that place. Love stops and listens to the entire situation, the entire explanation. Do we have enough patience to stop and try to love somebody?
Or are we too busy with our own agendas to push forward? Sometimes. Can we stop? This just reminds me, and I think I put it on here, but what does it really mean to love your neighbor? And this is what you just said, what we just got through saying. Talking about the what's the man on the side of the road? The Bible. My brain just, what is it?
Let's move on. Keep on moving.
No, it says, an ordinary man. Okay, here it is. Thousands of years ago, Jesus asked the question. So he told a story about a weary traveler who was robbed, beaten, and left alongside of the road. And this, we're talking about Luke 10, 25, and 37. An ordinary man saw and kept walking. He was probably too busy. Are you too busy to help this man who got beaten and robbed on the side of the road? A very religious man ignored him. 2, maybe they were probably it says there was probably no one around to notice his good deeds or his spirituality.
Right.
Okay. You only do good unless somebody can see you.
Yeah. It's some type of reward in it for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, but the person who actually stopped and did something was someone who was unexpected. The person was a good Samaritan. That's the name. That's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry, y'all. It said that person was the good Samaritan. We all know the story. A kind man stopped, helped him, bandaged him up, took him to an inn, paid for his stay for him to get well, and etc. Do you love your neighbor enough? Do you love your brother enough? Do you love your sister enough to stop?
Do you love yourself enough to stop? Do you love you enough to stop and say, I need some help right through here. I need somebody to help me bandage up these wounds. I need somebody to feed. Matter of fact, I just need to stop and bandage up my own wound. I need to stop right through here and feed myself. When's the last time you just stopped for a minute to feed you? Right. To deal with you. You know, and I think that's what the Bible says in the book of Psalms was so powerful. It says, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He making me lie down in green pastures. There's a time where you have to stop for a minute and say, I need to rest my weariness. I need to love me a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? And when she was reading that, I got this wrote. I said that the love that makes life fulfilling connects us to others and renders meaning to our days. Is abiding and unconditional. I'm going to say the love that makes life fulfilling connects us to others and renders meaning to our days is abiding and unconditional. It is as much spiritual as it is emotional. I'm going to say it again. It is as much spiritual as it is emotional. And sometimes we get too spiritual that we overlook the emotional side of man. We got trichotomy. I need you to feed me mind, body, and soul. I need my spirit fed. I need my emotions. Sometimes our emotions can be so messed up that we can't even see spiritual.
Well, honestly, your emotions are messed up because, like you said, you're weary. Right. You're tired. You haven't stopped long enough to rest and recharge. Get yourself right.
I mean, that's it. And when it's like that, your spirit gonna be jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Why is she so snappy? Why is she so broke down?
Uh-oh, why she cussing?
Oh, I thought Peter. I thought men just cussed. You know, that's what it was. That's spiritual right now.
Okay, yeah, we just did.
But and the thing about it, there's pressures that we're under right now that messes up. And it says right here, it requires the uncensored affection. I'm gonna say this: unconditional love requires the uncensored affection of a child and a patient maturity of an elder. It requires the uncensored affection of a child. Uncensored affection. See, a child don't see all your flaws. It don't see all that. It don't see all these different things that go on. It just know, pick me up. I want you to love me. They might, that the innocence of a child that is sometimes can get them hurt.
That's good.
And this is what it's saying. Unconditional love we have to put ourselves in a situation where we just might get hurt. The uncensored affection of a child. And it says, but it also requires the patient maturity of a seasoned veteran, an elder, a mother, a mother or something. It requires that part too, that patient maturity.
That's good.
Can you wait on somebody? Can you have enough patience to see the good in them, knowing that they're not there, but love them? Can you love me back to my right state of mind? Can you love me back to health? Can you love me back to peace? Can you love me back to joy? Can you love me back to that little child playing in the yard? Now I'm too afraid to even go outside. Come on, Sister Tamicka.
I was thinking, it's kind of a transparent moment, but I can remember being violated. The first time I was violated with my trust and my love, it scarred me, because the next time I felt like, and it not just with a male or whatever, but friend wise, but the first time it scarred me, and I felt like, I'm never going to feel like this ever again, because I'm not going to allow anybody else in this space.
Right.
And so when I felt that feeling coming on again, I kind of boxed it up. And throughout time, boxing that feeling caused me to feel like, like if somebody said, I love you, it made me feel kind of ashamed a little bit. And I'm like, really? It was kind of like, ugh. Sure? Not really. You don't, And then not only that, but it made it hard for me to say it. Right. It made it hard for me to express it. It made it hard for me to feel it. And it even made it hard for me to even want to be loved, by others.
And that's the thing. Stuff in life will numb you down to the fact that you cannot feel, show, or even respond to the greatest commandment God has given us. And that's the love. Right. That's the love. And you gotta see the tricks of the devil. You gotta see the how he works subtle. He started when you were a little child. He started when you thinking that it started with your husband. Right. But it started when you was a little child. Whether that's with your father, or with uncle, somebody who violated you. And now when you get into the relationship with your husband, you don't really even know how to love. It started, I'm gonna go back as we as men, sometimes we come across so hard because Dad had taught us how to provide and protect, but he didn't show us how to love. Because we didn't see that growing up. So then we get in a relationship with a woman, we think because we provided for you, we did this, that you should be happy.
And she over here hungry and yearning for something to be loved.
To be loved, but we don't know how to love. And then they come in broken and not knowing how to receive the love, so they come in hard. One thing I say when I got with her, she was hard. Still try to be hard, but but I had to look past all that to get to the understanding, why is she like this? And now I'm trying to see past all she's going through. But that's like she said, when she first got with me, I was a mess. A total mess. And I think that's the thing we got to realize. We come into relationship both of us not knowing broken and not even having an understanding of what love is.
And with that being said,
come on,
it says love is kind. Love is active in doing good. Love is caring. It's nice. It's sympathetic. It's generous. It's gentle. And that's what we had. You said she was hard when you got into this relationship. It's gentle. It's compassionate.
Right.
And that's key word today. I think it's compassionate and it's thoughtful. How compassionate are you? How sympathetic are you?
Lord, help us.
We have had, I don't want to go there, but my heart is broken, to see these two people who have passed in the Acts, in the ministry, in the Acts family. And I don't know, and I know nobody is overlooking it or anything, but I guess for me, I feel like it's like, it's life as usual, move on. Right. And yeah, we do. Yeah,
we don't grieve as other, but we still have to have our moments.
Right.
To where we get it out, and I think that's the thing, not being able to celebrate them because of this COVID-19 and certain things. But it's like I said right here, it says love is kind, it's active, it's in doing well. Love is caring, nice, sympathetic,
I know.
Generous, gentle,
compassionate.
And then she was saying it's compassionate and it's thoughtful. But when you look at all this, what causes us, or what has caused us not to be caring, not to be nice, not to be sympathetic, not to be generous, not to be gentle, not to be compassionate, not to be thoughtful? What has caused us that? See, the thing about it is, most of us, when we come into the church, we were already away from this. We wasn't here. Then when we got there, it's other things in life that brought us back and pulled us back away from being, it's hard to be gentle to a con artist, or generous to a con artist. It's hard to be gentle to something that's biting you and that's tearing away at you. It's hard to be sympathetic to people that ain't, they out trying to get over. So all these different things that we war against in this life, in this world, is trying to take away from what God has called us to do. And he called us to love. But we have to use wisdom in this. And sometimes we get so caught up in all the things that we shouldn't do. But one thing we got to realize, you cannot get away from love. We can't get away from it. And all of us come into this walk with Christ broken. And sometimes even after we get in it, we get broken again.
Right.
We get scarred again. We get hurt again. But God is still calling us through all that pain, through all that hurt, through all those situations, to continue to do what? Show love. Show love. And I'm tell you something. I need some help this morning, y'all. I realize the more I look at it, I need some help.
Yeah, we do. I mean, as a whole, we need some help because, and I'm trying not to go into uncharted waters because it's kind of hard. Not to express what I feel fully right now, but do I love them? It says, love thy neighbor. Our neighbor is not just a person that's next door to us. Our neighbor are the people that's right in front of us, the people who hurt us, the people who violate our trust, the people who lie on us. And God helping me right now, trust me. God is really helping me. The people who talk against us, the people who envy us. These are our neighbors. Do I love you enough to show forgiveness?
Right.
After you've done these things to me. Right.
That's one of the true testaments of love. And let me tell you something. It ain't easy. It hurts. It weighs on you. It causes you sometimes to feel like you're losing your mind. keep on. It says it does not envy. Love is not puffed up. It treats others not arrogantly. You know what I'm saying? It does not behave rudely, but it displays good manners and courtesy. Love does not seek its own. It insists in its own rights, demands and procedures. Rather, it is unselfish. Love is unselfish.
Oh, let me read what I got.
Come on,
and I'm on the same verse you are. It says, love does not envy. Love is non-possessive and not competitive. It wants you to get ahead. Love does not parade itself. It is self-effacing. It's humble. It has a self-effacing quality. It's humble. And keep going with your thought. I just wanted to insert that because I was on the same one.
You're good. I was just reading. Love is not provoked. It is not irritable.
That's good.
Or touchy, rough, or hostile. But it is gracious under pressure. Love is gracious when?
Under pressure.
Under pressure.
That's good.
Under pressure. When he saw us polluted in our own blood, he saw us like that. He picked us up, cleaned us up, washed us up, knowing that we're going to go right back and get polluted again. But he didn't even stop. He died yet while we were sinners and going to continue to do some sins. Christ died for us. So this is that unconditional love. And then he asked husband, do what? Love thy wife as what?
Love the church.
As Christ loved the church.
Honestly, we're not saying that we are the epitome of this, but we are saying that this is something that we probably need to work on and to do. This is an action that we need to put into place, especially right now. We have had so many people who
are going through some stuff.
Are going through a lot of things.
A lot of things I was looking, I think Sister Rose and it's not that you have favorite people. Sister Rose, she like my teacher. I love that. She helps me with my teaching. And I thank God for her. I thank God for her spirit. And everybody has their own little, to me, had their own little niche to me. You know what I'm saying? I think one thing that hurts me, even with Sister Benita being gone, she would always greet me with Pastor James. Pastor James. She spoke something to me that let me know that she placed respect in everybody. And that's gonna be missed. And even like with Elder Whitley, just was so I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss him. You know what I'm saying? So, but right here it says love thinks no evil. It does not keep an account of wrongs done to it. Love does not keep an account of wrongs done to it. And I thank God that I think I genuinely got this from my mother and my father. That love don't keep account of wrongs done to it.
I can get it from mine.
we just had an incident. We just had an incident with somebody that mother I hold in such high regards. And I'm not gonna get into any detail, but I hold them in high regards. And their mother has passed and gone on. But the situation happened where they got me for about $4,000. And I called to make it right. They got me for $4,000. I called to make it right. And they still hit me hard. But I called to make it right so I wouldn't hold nothing over their head.
Right.
I wouldn't hold nothing over their head. And I thank God for this attribute that he's placing. It does not hold account. Now, I'm not saying I got that 100%. But I think I'm on the 75% of it. That don't hold no wrongs over here. Because I realize holding it ain't doing me no good. It don't do me no good.
Creates bitterness.
It creates bitterness. It creates a pain and that's not there. But it says instead it erases resentments. It says love does not hold account of wrongs done to it. Instead, it erases resentment. Love does not rejoice in iniquity. It doesn't find satisfaction in other folks' shortcomings.
That's good.
It does not find satisfaction in other folks' shortcomings. It doesn't. It doesn't. Come on, sister.
Go ahead and close us out.
Close
We're
out.
getting close.
Okay, I'm trying to keep myself together because.
Well, I do have one thing. I'm pose a question, and it says, "Is there a part of you in this life where love has left vacant?"
Oh my goodness.
Is there a part in this life where love has?
And I'm gonna say this: is there a part? Let me put it like this: is there a part in your life where you have let the concept of what you thought love was leave you vacant in the area?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Your perception of what love is. Is there a part in your life that your perception of love has caused a vacancy? Is there a part in your life where your perception of love, your definition of love, have left a vacancy
Or emptiness?
An emptiness. You know what I'm saying? When you go by a hotel room, a hotel building, now there are plenty of vacancies. How many vacancies in your life have you allowed your perception of love leave? I was looking at something, I think it was Randall Bell put in there, said, love is so blind that when that blindfold comes off, that's when you got to really test it in. The blindfold is on because love is so blind, but when that blindfold comes out and you see what really is in front of you, that's when your love is really tested. That's when compassion must step in. Because God knowing and seeing all. We don't see all. He's seen all. He sees all, but he still continues to love. What shall separate us from the love of Christ? Nothing. Nothing shall separate us from the love of Christ. So when you look at this word love, God is asking us to love with all thy heart, all thy mind, and all thy soul. He said, I need 100% of your love. 100% of your love. It's going to take every bit of it. And in the world we live in now, as we get ready to close out, this is the greatest opportunity that we have as children of God to show forth love. Let your light so therefore shine. Let it shine. You should be able to let that light shine now in this because it's so dark. We're living in a dark age. And I'm going to close out with this right here that I got that it says like this, and it says, even when life is hard, God's love for us never stops. God's love never changes. No situation or circumstance in our life can cause him to stop loving us.
That's good.
When we are in the valley, it is normal to feel frustrated, angry, or even upset. But we can't let these feelings overtake us. For we are always standing in God's love. And this is one thing we got to learn how to do. We got to learn how to stand in God's love. How do I stand in God's love? You got to have the assurance to know that he begun a good work in us shall perform it. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave out with this. And I got this. I really got this thought, in a sense, from another one I ministered, Sister Johnny. And she was speaking to me and Tamicka one day. And this came to mind when I read this. It says, the greatest tragedy is not that we don't achieve all our goals and successes in life. I'm going to say it. The greatest tragedy is not that we don't achieve all our goals in this life. It is the fact, or the sad fact, that we live and die not knowing how much we are loved.
Wow, that's good.
I'm going to say it again. The greatest tragedy in this life is not to achieve all our goals in life. It is the sad fact that we live and die not knowing how much we were loved.
That's real good.
So what we need to do with that is go out and let somebody know, I love you today. I love you today. My little sister texted me this morning, and I know it's confirmation, and we got a strange relationship. She said, have a good week, and I love you. And I said, man, that's just so profound that she sent me that text on this Monday morning. Wow. And I think that's one thing we got to do, because tomorrow's not promised to none of us. The greatest tragedy is not achieving your successes and your dreams. The greatest tragedy in this life is the sad fact that we can live and die and not know how much we were loved.
Let me say this. This is and I'm saying this on the account of myself. Don't feel embarrassed to show love after violation. Don't be afraid to show love after violation. And I know I'm saying, I'm coming from me and I'm also talking to myself. It's not an easy thing to open yourself back up after, you've been hurt.
Right.
But as James has stated just a few minutes ago, tomorrow's not promised to us. And you could very well die, or someone else could very well die, and the love that you long to express, long to give, will never be expressed.
Never be expressed.
So with that being said,
and I'm gonna say this: the commandment. If God gave us commandment
right.
to do it, everything that's
that's good.
Everything we already have everything to do what He commanded us to do. So no matter how bad it hurts, no matter how bad you feel, God has already given us the strength and the wisdom and the ability to love. So once again, we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And as we end out,
love,
peace,
and happiness.
until we meet again, have a blessed day. Thank you.